Hello, parents and families, and welcome to our Grade 11 Introduction to College Counselling video. Now, the students in Grade 11 would have had this information already given to them in an assembly already. So we just really wanted to spend take some time to kind of let you know what has been said, so you guys kind of know where your students are at, what they know so far, and so then you can then move on to help to support them as we move through this year and next year. So I'm Jeremy Forrester, Mr. Forrester, and I work with the Dragons. And
I work with Phoenix House students. I'm also a resident tutor in the boarding house, so students can find me in Woodlands on Monday and Wednesday evenings. I'm happy to answer any quick questions, talk about course selection, as well as how they can go about exploring universities. But of course, they should direct the more important and bigger questions to their individual college counselors.
Yeah, hiya, my name's Miss Hollins. I am the college counsellor for Gracken House.
Hi, my name is Charushila Narula Bajpai. I'm Miss Charushila. I am the college counsellor for Pegasus.
So moving forward, there's going to be a series of different events, assemblies, and tasks that students in grade 11 are going to get moving on up until December time. And then after December, what will happen is we will start to see the grade 11s on a more one-to-one basis from January the 13th onwards. So basically, we've kind of designed this curriculum for the grade 11s to basically get actively engaged while we're really busily working with the grade 12s with their applications. So we're all currently working very busily and making sure that all of those applications are getting in and meeting deadlines. So there will be touch points moving up to December, but then the real work between us and the students in grade 11 will start to happen from January onwards. So I just wanted to start off the session with sharing with you what former grade 12 students have said about this process. Okay, so this has been shared with the grade 11s to let them know what their peers have been kind of thinking and advising them. So there are so many, I'm not going to read all of them, but you get a general idea. Don't procrastinate is an important message. Use likely target reach structure and think about your choices. So that really kind of is to do with what university students are choosing in their list, not only aiming for those that are really challenging to get into in terms of academics, but also having those as kind of fallbacks as well, so you're getting a bit of balance. So that's what we like to do. We have breadth in the list. So obviously there will be reach as well in there as well, but not having everything only as a reach. So that's what some students have said. Trust yourself and make sure that your choices are what you want, not just the course, but the town and the location and all of the other various factors that are required. So apply to a variety of schools, pick matches, safeties that you'd actually like to go to. Have as open mind as possible can help without disregarding what you actually really want from the situation. And then we've got a range of different ideas related to organisation and checklists and calendar and knowing when things are happening. So you can see in that box in the bottom right-hand side of that slide, it's really talking about getting a checklist prepared. We have checklists. We've shared checklists already with the grade 11s in the advisories. It's on hanging up on the walls. Use spreadsheets, get organized, know when things are happening, be aware of when dates are happening, okay? And we share all of those dates as we go through regular emails and so on. So these are the words of students that have been through the process, and we've shared these ideas with the grade 11s. But basically, in the college counselling department, we really do have the really important idea of best fit, the idea of fit. So what fit means is a student looking for something that meets their goals in terms of their career path, obviously. However, it's got to align with them and fit with them academically. Geographically, location. Emotionally, are they happy where they're going to go? Because if they're not happy with where they end up ultimately going, then how much are they really going to be able to feel comfortable in engaging in the life and community of the university as well as their academics? So thinking about the social and financial needs is also an important feature as well. So this is the idea of fit, of which we really care about in our office and focus on with our students as well. So here, the what and the when. So here we can see that the first things that we're going to be doing with grade 11 is getting them to, from November and December, to get them to start self-reflecting. So it's very important that a student is understanding where they are as a person, as a student, what they like, what their strengths are, and really thinking about these things as part of this process. Because if you're looking at the idea of fit without considering what you want, who you are as a person, what works for you, then you're not going to find something that actually fits in with your preferences. So self-reflection is key. And then this is then followed by students exploring a range of different destinations. So you can see that on that run up to the January where we start our one-to-one meetings with the grade 11s, we are offering various opportunities for students to explore different destinations around the world, and then moving on to the university exploration and research process itself during our meeting times and beyond. So that's what we're going to be doing January onwards, working one-to-ones with those students, helping to facilitate time for them to research, as well as helping them understand what is out there worldwide, looking at their options in various destinations. The actual application itself, as you'll be able to see, actually happens in grade 12. So we're not actually going to be applying to universities this year, irrespective of how ready some students may feel that they are. So that's a really key point to make. So this year is all about self-reflection, exploration, and really learning as much as possible about all of the amazing opportunities that there are out there worldwide. So engaging now is key, so it doesn't feel like a stressful situation when it's time to apply when in grade 12. Okay, we'll also be looking at supporting students with their writing and having various chances for them to have visits with universities as well. We've had lots of universities coming in to visit already this term, as you may already be aware. And another feature to look on this what and where is the students working on shared documents section there. So students have actually already been shared a couple of documents, self-reflection and extracurricular activities documents. These are the documents we're talking about. We'll have more detail on those when we have an assembly later on in a couple of weeks' time. But just to be aware that students can be working on those documents, and more are coming as well. Those documents will help that self-reflection process. It will help them think about all the things that they've been doing outside of the classroom as well, and then how best to advocate for themselves on that. So with this whole process is about thinking about the student first. So you can see here we've got this image here that puts the student in the center of everything we're doing. We're very much a department that considers student-centered focus, and the idea of fit being from where the student is, and then the family and the college counsellors being there to support the student, okay? So this ties in with the idea of fit very well. So from here, we can see a little bit more detail about responsibilities and who has what role in this process. This is a summarized version of something called the pledge form. So we've got the pledge form coming to you, which will have far more detail of all of the tasks that the students will be expected to do and responsible for, all of the tasks and the things that we do as counsellors to help support, and some of the things that you as families can do to help support the grade 11 student. So if we just kind of zoom in, you can see that it's really down to the student to be actively researching and exploring, keeping an open mind, completing tasks on time to support their applications, and thinking deeply about their options. We here as college counsellors are there to suggest options to explore, asking questions to promote reflection, help to guide the student. We are a resource as well. So we're very much a resource that students can tap into. We're not going to create a specific list that the student should go and apply to. We're there to help the student craft that list. So it's very much coming from the student and us supporting that to happen. And as parents, family, you're there to help to promote a wide research, ask questions as well. Be involved in the process is important. Understand when dates are happening. Lots of videos come out about those dates. Helping the student, your son or daughter, with organisation and travel, and being honest about finances is very important as well. What kind of institutions, price ranges is actually realistic as well, especially with a lot of US universities being pretty pricey as well. So it's about kind of being actively involved and supporting them and being a cheerleader for the students as well from the family. So then moving on from that to what do universities look for? So we do have an association where college counsellors and admissions officers get together, share information, share data. So we get to learn a lot about what's going on with the admissions side of things. And as part of that, there's an international ACAC membership and a conference that we go to. And from that, we've got a series of priorities in which have been summarized that explain what universities are generally looking for. So just to kind of zoom in, there are a lot of things that go towards a holistic application in general, but the most important thing that you can see is a group here at the top on the top left. We've summarized them on the top left. We've got transcripts, predicted grades, GPA, rigor of content. So that basically falls down to doing well academically. Okay, so obviously the academics are very important with many universities that you're applying to, especially those that are moderately and highly selective. But then there are other attributes that some universities will be looking at. And this is not the time to go into all of the details of each one, but that's something that we can do as we explore and work with your students. So some universities will be looking at the characters, the attributes, an interest, an engagement in the actual course that they're looking at applying to. What are they doing in the community within ACS and beyond? What extracurricular activities are they doing? Any work experience? But they can also look at the references or recommendations that come from teachers and counsellors, as well as something called demonstrating interest. How likely is the student going to matriculate at that university if offered a place? This is very much a US-centric approach in the demonstrated interest. So just to be aware that we as college counsellors, we're here to help, to support. Students need to engage in us in the process. If they don't, it's very difficult for us to write those letters of recommendation where we really advocate for the students to these universities as well. So it's very important to get involved and engage with us so we can write lots of great things about your grade 11s moving into grade 12 as well.
Okay, so some of the resources that we shared with the grade 11s to go through can be found on Schoology. So College Counselling has a group which you should be checking regularly. It's got really helpful information on there. If we just go through the sorts of things that we are encouraging students to look through at the moment whilst they're waiting to kind of meet with their college counsellors. One, it's grade level resources. Any presentations that we do will be uploaded here, so you'll have a stream of different PowerPoints, presentations and additional bits and pieces that will be helpful to look through. But the other thing, while students are kind of really waiting to get going with their college counsellors, is the Exploring Options folder. So as you'll see there's lots of different options on countries, how you can search for different options, and maybe just some key things that you might want to know about in terms of the style of education in those particular places. In addition to Schoology, we've got loads of resources to help students get started and continue to be supported on this journey. So we've got books in the library from all sorts of things about picking a major, guides on different colleges so you can get insights from former students, lots of great stuff there. Obviously, us as the college counsellors, feel free to ask us any questions. University fairs, which will be covered a little bit more in this presentation. But we also have lots of web-based resources, which Mr. Forrester will talk about in terms of my learning. But again, at the bottom, you've got really great websites such as Niche, College Vine, and UVisit.
So by far the best resource, the most valuable resource for you to be engaging in as we move forward is something called Maya Learning. So Maya Learning is a place where students will be able to research universities. Also, not only is it a place to do some researching, it's also a place for you to receive some tasks from us as we go through the year. And it's also a place for you to do a little bit of reflective activities as well. So it's basically an all-encompassing place, but most importantly, also, as well as it being the best place to research your universities, it's a place for you to get your documents sent off when you're in grade 12. So when you're in grade 12, when you do the applications, we will be able to, as long as you are putting in the universities that you are shortlisting, which we urge you to. In fact, you have to, for us to be able to send those documents off to the correct universities. First you shortlist them and then you click and say that you're applying to these specific universities. Then we're able to, on the back end, send off your letters of recommendation from teachers, your transcripts, your college counsellors' letters of recommendation. In addition to that, there will also be a school profile and a range of other documents. Okay, so it's so important to engage in Maya Learning. Initially, it will be for activities for you as well as researching universities. Okay, you'll also find information on university visits in the future ongoing in there as well.
Okay, so as I mentioned previously, you've got lots of great resources on Schoology related to exploring options in different countries. But just to give you a bit of an overview to help you get started, this continuum shows you the different styles of education that you'll see for many of the countries that we see many students apply to. So if we move across the left, you'll see UK tends to be more specialised. What that means is if you are wanting to study a subject such as economics, it means that your whole degree is geared around economics from year 1 to year 3, and even the modules that you choose within that will be related to economics in some shape or form. And then as you go across, you've got the USA on completely the other side. That's more exploratory, and what that means is it relates to the liberal arts style of education, where students can pick and choose lots of different subjects to help see what their interests are and their strengths, and then they can build towards a major as they go through the program. So in the USA, for example, you could be studying art history. You could also be doing some physics, some all different, some maths, all different type of subjects. And then you've got Canada, which is some way in between, which means that you'll be applying to a faculty and you'll have some room to try different subjects, but they generally will be related to that area. So if it's political science, you might have some history, some writing, some public health, something that will relate to that subject, but there is some flexibility built within that program before you specialise in the last couple of years.
Hi folks, this year I'm going to be handling our university visits. So we have quite a lot of universities coming through. We just had about 30 plus universities over the last 7 days who were coming here from the US and in London for the Fulbright Fair, which students were able to attend if they'd registered independently. But we also had about 30 of those universities come to our campus to talk to our students. And we hope a lot of the students participated, got to learn and talk to these universities. We will be hosting a few more visits after we get back from October break, while individual universities will be coming through just about one or two every week over the next couple of weeks, until the next set of deadlines for university applications. We'll be putting that all up on our Schoology page, and we have a live document that is linked on Schoology that students can actually click on and be able to see what universities we have coming up. Some students may consider doing a couple of tests that may be relevant to their individual university and tertiary ambitions. So we have the PSAT, which was administered in October last year. We will have another sitting coming up now. Particularly, this one is usually geared towards grade 9s and 10s, but 11s that haven't taken the PSAT before may consider taking it. It is a very good entry or intro into the SAT, and it is free and provided by the school. So students that feel like that may be helpful for them are encouraged to take that. We also have some students that may have been at ACS for only a year or two and may have come from high schools that were not entirely in English, may be required to take the TOEFL. Look into that. However, be aware that the majority of universities will not require you to take these tests until after you have been accepted, or after, as if they are part of your conditions if you're applying to the UK. There may be other tests that students need to be aware of, particularly those applying to Oxbridge and other schools like Imperial, and then other programs like medicine, which will require the UCAT, as well as the other engineering programs and in Imperial College, or law programs that will require the LNAT. So we do encourage students that are interested in those programs or those universities that require additional tests to really look into that and talk to their college counselors on how they can prep, as well as how they can be aware of those requirements. We will be providing an SAT preparatory course starting in November here at the school. More information will be shared with students towards the start of that course in November. And of course, students are encouraged to utilize Morrisby and of course the College Board and other available free resources that students can use to prepare for some of these tests. All right. In terms of upcoming events, as mentioned earlier, we've already had a couple of universities come to visit us over the last week. We will also be obviously sending through some videos and attending some of the classes during advisory time, as well as providing more information that students can use during advisory. We will also have a couple of presentations coming up in October, November, and of course, when we come back from Christmas break and we return in January, we will start one-on-one college counseling with all the grade 11 students.
Getting involved, I think that's the big game. What we've been hearing about is how do we engage really with college counseling? At the end of the day, whether you're coming in for these assemblies or doing one-on-one meetings with your college counselors, you're finding ways to create the best narrative for yourself at universities. At the end of the day, Schoology resources or mini fairs, they're all there so that you can put yourself out there for universities to understand who are you. At the end of the day, we are trying to put in a lot of resources for you as a school. We're trying to put in a lot of resources as college counselors also to make sure that you have all the requisite information. Recently, there was also an activity fair at the school where a number of students actually showcased their clubs, whether it was a service club or an interest club. So right from beekeeping to taking care of animals, or something with the mathematical challenge, or even if you wanted to work at the Refugee Action Club. There are so many activities that are actually available at the school. It's more about the student wanting to get involved in these clubs, because at the end of the day, universities want to understand who are you as a person. They want to understand why are you a great fit for that university, and that won't happen till the time you put yourself out there. There's also a lot of university advice available on university websites. So sometimes it's also about demonstrating interest with a certain college or university that you want to actually study at. It's not just a way for you to get to know that university, it's also a great way for you to showcase yourself as a scholarship candidate, perhaps, or as someone who's capable of receiving that presidential scholarship and more. At the end of the day, there's no end to how much involvement can be possible from a student. We do understand that you also have your academics to take care of because they are indeed a foot in the door for you. At the same time, universities are really keen to understand if you're a student who's not just engaged within the classroom but also outside of the classroom. So sometimes the difference between a mediocre average application to an excellent stellar application is really involvement. So get involved, and we cannot underscore the importance of how important it is for students to be involved in their journey as a student. Of course, what's also important to highlight here is that, once again, let me emphasize that we are looking at students right from their self reflections to the exploration that they've done in their grade 11s, all the way through their second semester, and also exploration with universities as well as engaging with these university visits before they actually jump into grade 12 and we start working with them on their college applications. If they don't do all of this in this period of time, it becomes very difficult in grade 12 to really build that narrative. And we hope that students engage and get involved with these activities. Once again, to emphasize, we are all in it together. We're happy to support our individual cohorts as well as work collectively towards making this happen for students. We are wishing you an absolute amazing journey going forward. All the best. Once again, please make a note of your individual college counselors. There's Mr. Subanda, Mr. Forrester, myself, Ms. Charushila, Dr. Hollins, and you can book meetings with us, and very soon we will be meeting grade 11s on one-on-ones, and really excited for this journey. Thank you.